Some trees were twisted, too, into grotesque shapes, splintered almost beyond recognition, a far cry from the beautiful landscape pieces they were before the storm. The phone company moved in quickly to replace poles that the wind ripped down. Local workers, aided by some 500 from outside areas, put up 750 new poles in all. Within a week, all phones that could be restored were back in service. Electricity, gas, and water were cut back in too. Everything done at breakneck speed to let those who could get back into their homes, to cut down the number of homeless, which at one time reached 15,000. And the never-ending job of moving furniture from wrecked homes continued. These pieces were taken out through what was a window. The Red Cross serves the National Guard and construction workers on the scene. Some figures: the mobile units provided 67,000 cups of coffee, 33,000 sandwiches, 26,000 donuts and other pastry items. Red Cross, church, and Salvation Army clothing centers were set up. Equipment for the needy, from babies to the very old. And private cars made welcome trips through the disaster area, dispensing coffee from large containers. Children were cared for in every way, and one of the first important jobs was that of clearing trees and other debris from the streets leading through the stricken area. Cars and trucks had to get in and out. It was vital that the roads be opened, and they were, by city and private crews. And mail service continued wherever it was possible. The day after the tornado, this postman took mail to anyone who still lived on his route. He called at this house, and he found the residents not at home. He continued on his way, stepping over broken wood and twisted metal. Some other items were carried by a sort of airmail service that June the 9th. Letters, bonds, photos that had been in area homes were found 50 or 60 miles to the east of Worcester, blown there by the wind. Emergency roofing, protection against the elements for damaged buildings got top priority. Never had the area seen so many workmen doing so many jobs so fast, and linemen worked too. The phone company replaced 125,000 feet of cable. Also, delicate instruments were put back into place. The loss of phone and power equipment was tremendous, but it was replaced, and through it all you could see things taking shape again. The seemingly impossible job of reconstruction getting underway. From the rubble, wrecked homes were to rise again. New houses were to be built where old ones had blown away. The cutaway sections of the battered homes made them look like overgrown doll houses, their interiors exposed. Workmen's heads appeared where roofs once were. Walls were practically non-existent. And yet, in some cases, homes that appeared total wrecks at first glance were being rebuilt within a few short days. The job of clearing away the rubble was a big one. The order of business was stack the debris in piles, then cart it away. A job again for city and town and private crews. Tree limbs and other combustible items were burned in special areas designated by city officials. Dry weather came on the heels of the tornado, and burning was strictly regulated. Power saws like this were invaluable for this cutting work, saved hundreds of man-hours. For those who left right after the tornado, the area had a new look when they came back a few days later. In the area of Burncoat Street and Uncatina Avenue in Worcester, traffic got moving on the streets again, trucks bringing in materials for rebuilding. Before long, new lumber began to appear, rushed to the scene from area lumber yards. For weeks it kept coming, and new lumber meant new homes. Walls and windows were repaired, and on the damaged duplex homes of the St. Nicholas development off Clark Street, the roofers got to work. Rebuilding, yes, there's been plenty of that since the tornado, but what of the people, these surviving families who came through, who suffered losses among their loved ones, who went through a never-to-be-forgotten ordeal of terror in those few wild moments of the wind that brought the walls down? Will they forget? Only time will tell. There came to central Massachusetts after the tornado a burst of sunlight that marked, of course, the end of that day's storm, but not the end of its effects on people from Worcester and 7 other central Massachusetts communities. Coordinating fundraising activities for relief needs is the Central Massachusetts Disaster Relief Committee. Within 3 weeks, $500,000 was contributed. This, the people will not forget. The response right from the hearts of their fellow citizens.